Good morning, all of you. So, now, as we know that in last class we discussed what is the importance of decomposers and as well as food chains. And today's class we are going to study the next concept is food web. So this is the most important one in this chapter because pre-board also they have asked a question from this only. So that is why listen very careful. It's not a big concept and it is not the tough also, but we have to remember things. Now, if you notice it here, so as we know, in last class we discussed food chains. So now, can anyone say what do you mean by food chains? So first of all, we know that the food, whatever we are eating to survive or to live, that is what we used to call as food. So that food is what it is. It is the energy. So the transforming of energy or food from one organism to the other organism, that is what we used to call as food chain. Is it yes or no? Krutika, please, Varshini. So now if you notice it, lot of food chains we discussed in the last class. The best one we have been discussed. So as we know, every food chain, who is the primary one? Anybody? Who is the primary one in every food chain? Plants are producers. So if we take grass, so grass is eaten by primary consumer deer, and deer is eaten by the secondary consumer lion, or tertiary consumer we used to call as. So this is only we used to call as food chain. So now every food chain, who is the primary one? Primary one is the producers. So means if the food chain needs to start, somewhere someone should produce the food, then only the food is transferred from producers to the consumers. So now if you notice it in our today's class, we'll discuss food web. So let us see what do you mean by this food web, and same way how this food web will formed by with the help of food chains. So food web is not a difficult one, which is like yesterday I have taught you in the food chain, same things will be present, but a different kind of consumers you can see. Grass will be eaten by deer, and a deer is eaten by lion. Same way, grass will be eaten by deer, and a deer can be eaten by jackal. Is it yes or no, guys? So if you notice it here, what is happening? It is what it is. A same organism can occur more than one food chains. So that is only we have to remember. So here if you notice it, deer is occurring in this food chain and as well as in this food chain. So like this is only we used to call it as a food web. So let us discuss more in detail one by one. So if we take a food web, what do you mean by food web means? A large number of food chains exist in a community of living organism in an ecosystem. That is what we used to call as food web. Means a huge number of or a large number of food chains will join together. That is only we used to call as food web. So if you take any kind of a community, so can anybody give me the example of community? So any example of community, like you can take forest, like you can take grasslands, like you can take water body, pond. So like in this community, or else crop field, everything, many of food chains are connected together, interconnected together by organisms which will occur more than one food chain. That is what I am saying you. So the same organism will be keep on occurring in many and many interconnecting food chains. That is only which to called as food web. Understand? Because for example, you can take the deer. Deer can be eaten by the lion, deer can be eaten by the tiger, deer can be eaten by the jackal, deer can be eaten by the wolf, deer can be even hunted by some other kind of carnivorous animals. Yes or no? Even wild dogs. So these all the things, have you noticed it? Same day is coming in different food chains. So this is only ways to called as a food web. So if you join a large number of food chains in a given community of living organisms, in such a way, it is maybe a grassland, it may be a forest, or maybe a pond, or maybe a crop field, or maybe some another thing, ocean or river, doesn't matter. So many of these food chains, they will be interconnected. And what do you mean by interconnected? One organism is occurs more than one food chain. That is what we used to call as a food web. Understand everybody? Please respond. So now please call to your absentees also one by one. If you'll call, everybody will join. So now if you'll take here, the interconnected food chains operating in an ecosystem, which will form like a network web, we can say, like internally connected each other. So this internally connected formation of web like network, we can say, this network only we used to call it as food web. So that a large number of food chains existing in an ecosystem in a single community, that is only we used to call as food web. Understand everybody? So this food web has many intercrosses and linkages among the various species, means in between the producers and consumers. So the various food chains in an ecosystem do not operate alone. So everything will be interconnected. So they cannot exist in a isolation or alone. So they operate in the form of a network of food. That is only ways to call it as food web. So now let us discuss example with the help of one diagram. So what I am saying, what do you mean by food web, guys? Anybody? So single kind of food chain will be existed, like a single organism is existed in multiple food chains, and they will form a like cluster or a group of network. That is only ways to called as food web. So now with the example I will show you, and I will teach you how it is existed and how this food chains will form the food web. So now first of all, let us write what is the definition of food web, because they will ask you for 1 mark. So now if you notice it, what do you mean by definition of like interconnection of food chains among themselves in a food? This is only ways to call it as food web. So now you have to write it a proper definition. So write it, the interconnected food chains, the interconnected food chains operating in an ecosystem, which establish a network, of relationships between various species, is called a food web. This is understand. So in this food web, what is happening? They will form a very large number of food chains existing in an ecosystem. That is only ways to call it as food web. So now have you written, guys? So if you feel difficulty to write this much big definition, simplify it and you can write a large number of food chains existing in an ecosystem is only called a food web. Means if you take any kind of community, a huge number of food chains, if you join together, then that is only called as food web. That is all nothing. Now let us take one example and let us find what is the food chains are present in that, so that you can understand more clearly. So now you can take the food web which is given in our board exam also, or else any kind of food web you can take, and we'll see how many food chains are present in this given community, we can understand. So now, and in that main word, what is the main word in any food web? Anybody can tell me? Arvind, Varshini, what is the main word we have to use in a food web and food chain? So food chain is a what? It will be transforming of energy from producers to the consumers. That's all. That is only ways to say food chain. So in food web, what is happening? One word you have to use it. That is what I am asking. What is that word? Anybody? That is only interconnected. Understanding means more than one. The single organism is involving in more than one food chain. That is only ways to called as food web. So now if you'll notice it, this is the picture, if you'll notice it, all of you. So this is, we can say, a food web. Many interconnected food chains are there. Have you able to see, guys? Please respond. Can you able to see? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Now, here, if you notice it, who is the producers? Let me know who is the producers. Who is
Plants, sir.
Plants are the producers.
Plants.
What we can say, plants are the producers. Now you can see it contains so many food chains, but they are all internally connected also. So now let us starts with the first one. If you notice it here, this is only ways to called as food web. We can see a network of different pathways along with the food flows within a grassland community. Understand? So we can see a food web starts from always producers. A food chain like food chain also will start from producers only and ends with a carnivorous animals or omnivorous animals. So now if you notice it here, in this one, they have been given a different kind of food chains that will notice it. How many food chains are there? You can check it. This is one food chain. This is the second food chain. This is the third food chain. This is the fourth one. This is the fifth one. And this is the sixth one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These has been a food chains will be combined together and internally connected. Here it is forming a network of food chains. So this network of food chains only what ways to call, Ra? What ways to call? This network of food chains only ways to called as? Please respond. In a given community, ways to called as food web. Yes or no? So that is what it is. So now, please all of you, you can draw this diagram also. Now let us see what is the first food web food chain present in this. Let me say all the 6 food chains. So one by one, tell me first. What is the first one? The first food chain, please respond. So the plants is eaten up by what, guys? Eaten
Rabbit.
up by rabbit.
Rabbit.
I should not. Rabbit and hawk. Understand? This is the first food chain. Next, second food chain, tell me. Plants, mice,
mice and hawk.
Yes or no? That is the second one. So plants. Next one, mice or rat, and we can got hawk. Next, third one, we can take eagle also. Third one, third food chain, tell me everybody. Please respond. Plants,
mice,
mice eaten by snake. Snake is eaten by, again, ultimately whom? A carnivorous animal, hawk. That is. Next, fourth food chain, tell me. Fourth food chain, they're eating by what? Plants, seed-eating birds. Seed-eating birds, and that birds will be eaten by, again, hawk. That is. Next, fifth one. Fifth food chain, please. That is fifth food chain. So plant. Next one is grasshoppers. Please tell me, grasshoppers, and grasshoppers are directly eaten by the hawk. So now next, sixth one. Sixth one, what? Plants, grasshoppers. Grasshoppers is eaten by frog. And frog will be eaten by hog. So like this, you might be notice it, a single organism is coming in more than one food chain. Is it yes or no? Guys, will you accept it? Please respond me. Aishwarya, Himaira, everybody. So that is what we used to call as food web. So here we have written 6 food chains. This all we used to call as food chains. So now if you take it, for example, if you take mice is coming in 2 food chains. If you take hawk is coming in every food chain. Grasshopper is coming in 2 food chains. So this is only, so single in a given community, an organism is coming in more than 1 food chain. That is only a network of food chains in a given community is called as what, guys? Is called as a food web. That is what it is, and nothing it is. So now this one we can say food chains, and this food chains, if we'll combine, it is forming the food web. So this we can take it as a trophy system. Sorry, this is the community which we can consider as a grass, understand, grassland. So we can consider as a food web community. So we can take like different communities like pond, different food web. If you'll go to the cross field, different food web. If you'll go to the forest, different food web. Like this, all the food webs will formed by a combination of food chains. That is what you have to remember. The main word is interconnecting. That is what it is. A very important word. So please all of you note it down, and if it is once it is finished, you tell me. So I have given you what is food web definition, and as well as the one of best example of food web. And similar way only in the exam also they asked. Now if you have little awareness, if you
For 6th food chain, frog to snake, sir.
I forgot. Very good. Frog to snake. Very good, Kevin. So first frog after snake. Snake will be eaten by the hog. Okay. Very good, Kevin. Frog, snake, and hog. That is. So we can say in 6th food chain, plants are eaten by grasshopper. Grasshopper is eaten by frog. Frog is eaten by snake, and then snake is eaten by finally whom? A carnivorous animal. That is what? By hawk. That is what consumed by hawk, we used to say. So this is what we used to call as food web. So anybody is having any doubt, you kindly ask me, or else we'll move to the next concept. Are you clear? Bhumiga, Jesse, Harini? This is what you need to remember. So hope you all understand. Everybody, what do you mean by food web? Please respond. And just call your friends also. So this is all you need to understand. So now if you'll understand this, then we'll go to the next concept. That is what it is at tropic levels. What it is, guys? Tropic. Please respond. Tropic levels. So now let us discuss what do you mean by this tropic levels and how we need to study this. All the things now we'll discuss. So now let us move on to the next concept. Have you understand the food web? Please respond. Food web, if you'll understand, then we are going to study, as I told you from yesterday, from here onwards, everything will keep on goes like importance. So having a chances of coming exam. So that is why you need to understand very carefully. So tropic levels, it's not a new concept. It's already people studying from the lower classes. From your social science in class 3rd onwards, you are studying the same things. So every level they are introducing this. So it's not a new thing, just you have to understand it. So now if it comes to here, tropic levels, what do you mean by this tropic level means? If you'll see, as we all know that food chains, how it will happen. Elmati, can you say, Aishwarya? So food chains, what is happening? They will represent always the flow of food, means how the food is given set of organisms of living beings, how it is moving from one organism to another organism. Do you understand, everybody? So in a given community, how the energy is transforming or the food is transforming, which will explained by the food chains and as well as food web. So now if we take here the various steps in a food chain at which the energy of food transfer takes place. So like we can take plants to the deer to the lion. That is why it's a different stage it is taking place. For example, if you take, so that is only we used to call it as tropic levels. Means when the food chain, the food is transforming, when the food is transferred from one organism to another organism. For example, if you take plants to deer, so this is one level, and deer to lion, this is another level, and lion to microorganisms after death, this is another level. So this is only we used to call it as a tropic level. Do you understand, everybody? So tropic level means various steps in food chain at which the transfer of food or energy takes place is only called as tropic levels. Understand, everybody? So in a food chain, each step from the primary producers to the primary consumers to the secondary consumers, so everything, a food chain, each step representing an organism from a tropic level. So what kind of organism is involving in that level? For example, deer will come under one tropic level, lion will come under one tropic level, and plants will come under one tropic level. So the energy transforming between the different organisms, that is only we used to call it as various steps, and each step is we used to call a tropic level, and each organism will come under different tropic level. So now let us discuss. We all know that producers. Who is the producers, guys? First point, let us discuss. Who is the producers, guys? Please respond. So producers whom? Who is the producer? So producers who is to called as plants. What is another plants? Plants, Kevin, Yalni, Karthikeyan. What is the producers? Anybody? Arun Karthikeyan, Arya. Producers means plants, I know that. What is another name I am asking? Another name of producers?
Autotrophs.
Autotrophs we have to remember. Understand? So now if you take here, autotrophs you can take here, and they will constitute the primary step. They are the beginners of the sources of energy. So that is why the plants or producers or autotrophs, we can constitute the first trophic level. Do you understand, everybody? So they used to call it as first step of trophic level. So that is why they will fix up the sun energy and make it available for consumers. So that is why we used to call them as they are the primary step or first step in every food chain, food web, and as well as the every tropic levels. So they will make the food with the help of sunlight, and they will make it for consumers. So that is what it is. They will fix up the sun's energy and make it available for consumers. So who is consumers? What is another name of consumers? Anybody? Humaira, Varsini? Another name of consumers?
Heterotrophs.
Heterotrophs. Understand? And last one, decomposers also is to call it as what? Sutir? Decomposers. Tarani, Sriya?
Saprophytes.
Yeah.
Saprophytes.
Saprophytes. That is you have to remember. So producers are the primary step, first tropic levels. They will fix the sun's energy and they will make it available for consumers. So now these consumers, if we'll take, so we are having three kinds of consumers. So first one we used to call it as what, guys? Herbivores. Understand? So herbivores, if you'll notice it, so herbivores we used to consider as they will eat herbivores. Herbivores, what they will eat? Which will feed upon plants. Understanding? So which will feed upon plants or autotrophs. So that is why they will constitute the second tropic level. What they will consider? Everybody? Second tropic level. Understand, everyone? So next, it will take a third one. So these primary means who will eat the plants, herbivores, which will be eaten up by the home guys. Carnivores, understanding? Carnivores, which will eat upon water, which will feed upon herbivores. Understanding? So herbivores. So this is only we to called as what we to call third tropic level. Understand everybody? And now consumers again, carnivores will be two types. What is that? Large carnivores and small carnivores. So now large carnivores. So large carnivores, what is another name? Anybody? Large carnivores. Also we can call it as what? Large
Tertiary.
carnivores. Top carnivores. Understanding? Which is eaten up the small carnivores. Understanding? Eaten upon small carnivores. Small carnivores, they will be at the fourth tropic level. Understand everybody? So what is that level? Fourth tropic level. So these are the things. Don't make it omnivorous, because omnivorous will come under this only. If they will eat vegetarian, they will come under primary consumers. They will eat non-veg, they will come under secondary consumers. That's all. So that is why we are not discussing about any kind of omnivorous. So totally in any kind of trophic levels. So how many stages will be there? Please answer. How many stages will be there? Yes, please. So totally 4 stages. One is first one is what? Heterotrophs. That is the first trophic level. Second one, First one, autotrophs. That is the first trophic level. Next one, consumers, heterotrophs. Herbivorous is the second trophic level. Carnivorous or small carnivorous is the third trophic level. And large carnivorous or top carnivorous, to call it as tertiary carnivorous, will come under fourth tropic level. So this is what we used to call it as what is tropic levels and stages of tropic levels. Now we will study how the tropic levels will come in the food chain, and as well as what is the representation of this food tropic levels, and all we'll see. Now first of all of you write the definition of tropic levels, and later this all the four points you should note it down, and we'll see that various tropic levels in the food chain, which will be represented diagrammatically. If we'll represent the diagrammatically, how it will be and what it is, everything we'll discuss now. Have written this 4 points. First of all, keep heading tropic levels and write the definition. The various steps in food chain, all of you write it. The various steps in food chain at which the transfer of food Jesse, have you understand? At which the transfer of food takes place are called tropic levels. In a food chain, next point. In a food chain, Bhumiga, are you clear, Bhumiga? Varshini, Arun Karthikeyan, and as well as Krutika also. So now, in a food chain, each step representing an organism, forms a tropic level. So that is, and we have to write that 4 points, and this is what you can keep heading. Various represented, understanding various tropic levels in a food chain is represented diagrammatically. So you can say This is the one way of representing the tropic levels in food chain, and this is the another way of representing the tropic levels in food chain. So totally how many tropic levels, Ra? Kevin? So there? Four tropic levels. So this is the first tropic level. Next one is second tropic level. Next one is third tropic level. Next one is fourth tropic level. So that is what you need to remember. So first one only producers, second one herbivores, third one small carnivores, and fourth one a top carnivores or a large carnivores, or we can say tertiary carnivores, which will come under a fourth tropic levels. So this is what you need to remember. Is it okay, guys? Clear, everyone? Please respond. Everyone? So top one, what we used to call raw? We used to call as tertiary consumers. Now, can anybody say why we are representing as a? Have you noticed it? If you are keep on going here, also the box sizes keep on decreases, and if you are keep on going in this also, it will become triangle. Means the size is keep on decreases. Why, guys? Can anybody say? Any idea, please? Let me see either you are thinking or not. Why we are representing here also see producers size is bigger, next consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. Here also see the box sizes keep on decreases. If you go even this picture, both the pictures, if you keep on going, their size is decreasing. So here you remember carnivorous also we can say small carnivorous, but usually we won't represent the small. So that is why we are not writing. Understand? Carnivorous or small carnivorous, both are same. And top carnivorous also is to called as tertiary consumers. So why we are representing always top? Can anybody say the small, this box compared to this box is a little bit bigger. Compared to this one, this is a little bit bigger. Compared to this one, this is a little bit bigger. Why, guys? Please try to speak. Anybody? Anyone? Any idea?
Because producers are the basic necessities for all the other three consumers.
That is.
So they build up the first level.
That is okay, but that is not. You have to think a little bit more. What you said is yes, but little bit yes. Okay, primary consumers plants, that's fine, but that is not the reason why we are making these sizes of the boxes. Anybody? Any other? It will represent you something. You might be notice it. If you'll observe in our surroundings, you can understand it. What is that? Anyone, please? That is, can I say? So why this tapering is occurring while you are keep on moving upwards? Because if you are keep on moving from producers to the tertiary consumers, every trophic level, so the number of organisms is decreases or increases. Please remember and tell me. The number of organisms is keep on decreases gradually or increases. Please respond me. Suppose producers are more or carnivorous animals are more. Please plants are more or animals are more. Plants are not living in our world. We are living in the world of plants. So the producers count is more compared to the herbivores. Herbivorous count is more compared to the carnivorous. Carnivorous count is very less compared to the top carnivorous. So if you keep on moving up to understanding, so in every trophic level, the number of organisms in them decreases gradually. That is the reason a tapering occur. Understanding tapering upwards is happening in even here triangle also, and as well as here this rectangular also. So everything what is happening, number of organisms will decreases. Understand, Ra? Everybody? Sriya? So number of organisms in them decreases
Yes,
gradually. Okay, Varshini? Decreases gradually. So that is why it is happening. Clear, everyone? That is the most important one which you need to understand. Elmati, so why it is tapering upwards? Please write it. Understand? tapering upwards because as we go upon towards to the higher tropic levels, because as we go up towards to the higher tropic levels, comma, the number of organisms in them decreases gradually. Number of organisms decreases gradually. Is it yes or no? Please respond. Correct? Primary producers will be a large number or not? Producers count will be more and more compared to the consumers. So that is why it is, at least we are trying to balance somehow. If suppose consumers count will more than producers, what will happen? Can anybody say? That is what the present situation we people are facing. That is only scarcity, we used to call as draft or scarcity, means no food availability in this earth. So it will lead to the complete destroy of every ecosystem if producers count is keep on decreases. That is why already a lot of damage to the ecosystem, and we are